live, OCEANBUS Göteborg, hello!
Då kör vi turen lite på svenska också så att alla kan förstå. We will do this tour in both Swedish and in English so that everybody can understand. Jag heter alltså Erika och jag är er guide här idag. As you can see, this is our lovely bus and I have tried perfectly fine. That's a good sign, I think. Usually he's a bit unsteady, he has a bit of a love for dry martinis and stuff like that. But this is only his second tour of the day. And he looks fine to me, don't you think? Yeah. Lite säkerhet innan vi släpper på er. Vi har öppna fönster i hela bussen. Så att alla kan få plats och sitta med sina nära och kära. We are a full bus here today, so please sit close to each other. Leave no seats empty so that everybody can fit and sit with their families and friends. You can show your tickets to my colleague Lovisa as you go on board. Come one company at a time, please. Ni kan alltså visa biljetterna för Lovisa när ni går på. Kom ett sällskap i taget, är det snälla. And one last thing. If you don't like to get wet, then you're in the wrong place, people. Welcome on board. Ombord OCEANBUS Göteborg, stadens första amfibiebusstur. My name is Erica and I'm going to be your guide today during this 3-hour-long tour. 2 hours on land and 1 hour in the water. We'll be in the water in about an hour. Jag heter alltså Erika och jag kommer att vara er guide idag på denna 3 timmar långa tur. 2 timmar på land och 1 timme i vattnet. Vi kommer vara i vattnet om ungefär en timme. Not 3 hours. I wouldn't last that, you wouldn't last that. 1 hour of quality time, that's all it's gonna take. Something that I like to watch when I do this tour are all the people that we don't. We have someone even better. Please, a big round of applause for Andreas! Andreas där framme är alltså våran busskapten idag. Ni är i trygga händer. He's a bit drunk, but he is great. And as I mentioned, I will be your guide today. So if you have any questions at all, you feel free to Google them. And we now took a left up on Amphibious and we are driving towards Vasaplatsen. In 2001, we had an EU summit, a big political meeting right here in Gothenburg, that had representatives from the entire world, including George W. Bush. George Bush was the president of the United States, but the people in Gothenburg hate George Bush. And this led to a very famous riot called Gothenburg riots, where large parts of the city was destroyed and the police even had to open fire against the demonstrators. But tram Mecca. We've had trams in Gothenburg since 1879, but back then they were being pulled by horses. After 23 years of horse powers, they chose to make them electric. And every day, the trams of Gothenburg together travel almost the same distance as a lap around the Earth. 36,000 kilometers. We're now able to see parts of the Chalmers Technical University. Chalmers was founded in 1829 and it was named after the guy named William Chalmers. But back then, only 10 people studied here. That number is a bit bigger today. Today, this school is ranked to be the 125th most popular university in the world and has over 10,000 students. My favorite Swedish Chalmers is Martin Lorentzon. Does anyone know who Martin Lorentzon is? No one? Okay, I can tell you. Martin Lorentzon is one of the two founders of Spotify. And the song from Spotify I'm gonna play is for all of you who are not from Sweden, and it's called Welcome to Gothenburg. Heading towards the avenue. The avenue is the parade street of Gothenburg. At the very top of the avenue we have Götaplatsen and the statue of Poseidon. Poseidon was built in 1931 by the man named Carl Milles. And originally, Carl wanted to make Poseidon's private parts a lot bigger. But the city sports ladies said absolutely not. So he compensated and made the fish that he's holding a lot bigger instead. So apparently the size of the fish symbolizes the size of his nose. Och så svänger vi vänster ner på Avenyn. I marken till vänster så ser ni vattenspelet, eller som vi kallar den för, bussbyggen. Vi tackar Göteborgs skattebetalare. Det här kostar nämligen 30 miljoner kronor att bygga. Rolling down onto the avenue, this is the parade street of Gothenburg and it was built in the late 1800s. But back then, there were only large mansions here, and where Poseidon stands today, there was only a cornfield back then. Today we have no cornfields on the avenue, there are just hotels, restaurants and 7-Eleven. The guy in the speakers, his name is Håkan Hellström. Håkan Hellström has all the 10 audience records at a local stadium and he sold more tickets to his concert than Bruce Springsteen and Madonna. There is a very divided opinion about him in Sweden, but here in Gothenburg, everybody loves him because he makes all his songs about this city. This park opened in the 1850s, and between the 1940s and 1950s, this was Sweden's most popular meeting spot for homosexual men. triangle roof. That is the fish church, Feskekyrka, and it has actually nothing to do with religion. That is a food hall, a collection of restaurants that focus only on seafood. Feskekyrka byggdes 1873 och är idag ett av Göteborgs mest kända landmärken. Det är ju alltså ingen riktig kyrka, men man kan faktiskt gifta sig där. Men då kostar det 20 lax. Och de flesta äktenskap brukar torska. Nej, nu får det räka. Vänner, välkomna till Järntorget. Det rödaste av det röda, arbetarrörelsens vagga och nav. Det är svårt att hitta ett ställe i Sverige så associerat med arbetarrörelsen som just Järntorget. Där har vi på vänster sida Socialdemokraternas kontor, flera fackföreningar och lite längre fram på höger sida Olof Palmes plats. Welcome to the Iron Square, the home of the workers' movement and the Social Democratic's party office. There is no such place in Sweden as associated with the workers' movement as this very square. The British newspaper The Guardian says this is the coolest place in Europe due to its cool and chill atmosphere. Not everybody wants this place to be as social democratic as it is today. There is this Norwegian billionaire called Petter Stordalen, famous for building luxury hotels, and he built one right here on the Iron Square. On your right side we have the Hotel Dragon. It's 34 floors high and it's the highest hotel in all of Scandinavia. But the Hotel Dragon is nothing compared to the mighty skyscraper, the Karla Tower, that we can see on the other side of the river. The Karla Tower is 246 meters tall, twice as high as the Hotel Dragon, and it's also the tallest building in the Nordic region. The architect that built the Karla Tower is the same architect that built Burj Khalifa in Dubai, and the penthouse has a worth of $7 million. She stands here because she's waiting for her husband to come home from the war. But she is looking towards the other side of the river. That is where she left her second husband when the first one was out sailing. Sjömanssystrarna alltså, skulpterad av Ivar Jonsson, som egentligen står här till minne av de 690 sjömän som omkom från 98 fartyg som förliste här under första världskriget. This might not look like much. This is actually the largest trading spot for seafood in all of Scandinavia. We have sold fish and shrimp here since 1910, and every year more than 1,300 large ships and trucks comes here to distribute seafood in all of Scandinavia. Before we do that, I'm going through a quick safety briefing, so please listen closely. This is important. I will do it in both Swedish and in English. Above your seat you have your life jackets. They will stay in the ceiling for now, and I will tell you if you have to put them on. We have 2 emergency exits, one in the front of the bus where you enter, and one in the middle of the bus at your left hand side. And please take off your seatbelts. Take them off. Ta alltså av era säkerhetsbälten. Flytvästarna, de har vi i taket. Jag säger till om de skulle behövas. Vi har 2 nödutgångar. En här i början av bussen, den är klippt på, och en i mitten av bussen på er vänstra sida. Det här är väldigt, väldigt viktigt. När vi åker ner i vattnet så kommer vi att tryckas framåt. Så sätt händerna på sätet eller stången framför er så ni kan hålla emot. This is really important. When we go into the water, we are going to be pushed forward. So please put a hand in the seat or ceiling in front of you so you can hold on tight. It's going to be quite a big push. And if you're traveling with children, please hold on to your children. Or your cell phone, whatever you feel is most important, Judge. And before we go into the water, we need to transform our bus driver into the real captain he is. And for that, he needs his captain's hat! Okay, Captain, are we ready? Okay, are you ready? Yeah! Okay, 3, 2, 1, go! Phew! Did everyone survive? No! Was it fun? No! Okay. Yeah, I guess so. I thought it was fun. Welcome out to sea, everyone. The river we are sailing on right now is called Göta River. In Swedish, Gothenburg is named Göteborg, and it's the only city in Sweden that has its own name in English. Göta is the name of the river, and Borg means fortress. So Göteborg actually means the fortress on the sea. And on your right side, you are able to see a large red crane. That is the Eriksberg buck crane. 84 meters high and 100 meters wide, and was used up until the 70s as a dry dock to handle fish. Och på er högra sida så ser vi också Sveriges 5:e största ö, Hisingen. Det var här som vi började bygga Göteborg år 1603. Men så kom danskarna och brände ner allting i det stora Kalmarkriget 1611. Tack för det, kära grannar. Och sedan 10 år efter det så vi byggde upp Göteborg, fast på andra sidan älven på fastlandet istället. Finns alltså inga riktiga göteborgare här på Hisingen. Där har vi bara öbor. On your right side we have the 5th largest island in Sweden called Hisingen. We started building Gothenburg here in 1603. But then the Danish came along and burned it all down in the Great Kalmar War in 1611. Thank you for that, dear neighbors. was 10 years after that they rebuilt Gothenburg up again, but on the other side, on the mainland instead. And the area we are sailing past right now is called the ferry docks, or färjenäs in Swedish. And this used to be a docking place for ferries. There is a reason I'm playing Drunken Sailor, and it's actually not just because of our captain. In 1745, a famous East Indian trading ship with the same name as the city, Ostindiefararen Göteborg, sank here just off Hisingen. The captain, whose name was Kasper Mattsson, started drinking on the job, and he didn't see the reef. This led to that the whole ship sank. Det var alltså lotsen Kasper Mattsson som började dricka alkohol när han körde skeppet, och han missade revet så att hela skutan sjönk. Kasper Mattsson was later imprisoned at the Älvsborgs fortress that we can see as far out in the water as possible, just to the left of those big blue cranes. And this was served as a prison for a really long time. The man who sat here the longest sat for 48 years, and he died only 3 days after he was released. Coming up on your right hand side, you're going to see a large red stone on the beach. Do you have a guess what they call it? That is the red stone, röda sten. And no one really knows why this stone is red. Some people say that a Swedish officer was killed by the Danish and that the blood from him painted the stone red. Others say that it was when the ship Gothenburg sank, they painted the stone red to remember all the sailors that died. But none of that is correct. This stone is painted red to mark how far we could shoot our cannonballs. We used to have cannons all over the city, and the furthest cannonball could only reach as far as the red stone. Röda sten är alltså just röd för att vi skulle kunna förr i tiden se hur långt våra kanonkulor kunde skjuta. Vi brukade ha kanoner över hela staden, och kanonkulan som sköt längst sköt lika långt som till röda sten. You're going to see a building with some small towers on it. That used to be a sugar refinery. It was built in 1901 to refine sugar, mainly to make alcohol. But before we had the sugar refinery, we had a castle. A big castle, the Älvsborgs castle. But this castle came with a problem. In every single war that Sweden had with Denmark, Denmark came and took this castle from us. And every time Sweden paid Denmark to get it back. This happened in total 4 times, and Sweden paid Denmark more than 1 trillion Swedish crowns. That's a million millions, or 1,000 billion. by Stora, of course. But before this was a hotel, it used to be a beer brewery owned by the German man named Abraham Lorentz. He later sold it to a Scottish guy named Carnegie, and he started brewing a famous beer, Carnegie Porter. Carnegie Porter ägs av Carlsberg och tillverkas nere i Falkenberg. I dagens läge så är det Sveriges äldsta företag. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how. So, we bought this as an original Volvo truck. Det vi sitter i just nu är alltså en Volvo-lastbil från början. Then we shipped it over to America to a friend of ours, his name is John. Which means that this is basically homemade. Makes you feel safe, right? So everything you see is either homemade details or original Volvo. The seats, the dashboard, even our captain is Volvo. We got him for free when we bought the bus. Such a good deal. But the most common question I always get: what happens to the wheels? Anyone brave enough to guess? You want to guess? What do you think? Att de åker in under bussen. Det är faktiskt den vanligaste gissningen som vi har av alla som åker med. De flesta tror att hjulen går in under bussen. Och det kanske resten av er också trodde. Men detta är inte en James Bond-bil. Det hade varit väldigt coolt och jag håller med. Men det är faktiskt riktigt tråkigt. Det är inget som händer med hjulen. Jag vet, det är jättetråkigt. It's actually really boring. Nothing happens to the wheels. I'm sorry if I made your hopes go up high. Vi ska nu köra mot rampen som ni ser på vår högra sida. Och det här är lite klurigt. Det är mycket alger på rampen och strömmar i vattnet som gör det svårt för kapten att köra upp där. Om vi åker för fort så kommer vi att glida rätt ner i havet igen och behöva stanna här i en vecka eller två. Ja, det vill jag. We are now going to aim towards this ramp on our right side, and this is difficult. There's a lot of underwater currents and algae on the ramp, which makes it slippery. If we go too fast, we will slide right back into the ocean again, and we will have to stay here for a week or two. But to do this, we need two things. We need a captain with a driver's license, and we need a captain that is sober. We have some of those things. Problem for our captain. We're back on safe dry land. Big applause! Eaten a Swedish potato, then you have this man to thank for it. This is Jonas Armströmer, the man who taught all the Swedes how to eat potatoes, the potato king of Sweden himself. Det var alltså Jonas Armströmer, potatiskungen från Alingsås, som lärde svenskarna hur man äter potatisen och inte bara odlar den som en prydnadsväxt. And on your left side we have the Gothenburg City Museum, and besides that the German church. As I mentioned, Gothenburg was built mainly by German and Dutch, and the last thing they did before leaving the city was to build their own church. So every writings is out of there are still in German. And to top things off, we are rolling alongside the square of Gustav Adolf II. Famously, he was standing on a hill, he was pointing down saying, "This is where the city should be, här ska staden ligga." So that's the reason his statue is pointing down into the ground. So, I'm gonna tell you one last story before I let you off the bus. It's about our company. Because this company was founded in 2014 in Stockholm. And before we opened, we had to practice during the night so that nobody could see our failures. And this led to some misunderstandings. One night when we got back to the ramp, we had a lot of cars waiting for us. Police, fire department, newspaper. Apparently an old woman had seen our bus in the water, called the police and said, "There's a bus in the water, people are drowning." So we got in the front of the newspaper with the title Amphibious Disaster. And remember, the bus in Stockholm is named Estelle. About 3 months later, we got a booking for the entire bus for 2 people, Mr. and Mrs. Anderson. But when we got there, it was our Crown Princess Victoria, Prince Daniel, and their daughter Estelle. She had read about our bus in the newspaper, and she wanted to go on the bus that was named after her. So apparently there is no such thing as bad publicity.